is Thursday, July 25th. I'm Tim Darnell bringing you this latest political update from Atlanta News First from our Midtown Atlanta breaking news desk, and a presidential election that looked completely different just a week ago has now taken, over the past 7 to 10 days, some of the most unprecedented turns in American political history. Here's a look at all of the breaking political headlines that we're following for you at this hour right now. Last night, President Joe Biden, in a nationally televised address, told the nation that he is officially not running for re-election in 2024, and that has paved the way and opened the door for Vice President Kamala Harris to announce her presidential candidacy, and she is already in the process of securing enough Democratic National Convention delegates to secure the nomination in just a couple of weeks. All this happened at the same time Donald Trump held a rally in Charlotte, North Carolina on Wednesday night. In the wake of former President Trump's attempted assassination attempt, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle has resigned, and we are continuing to follow all of the latest polls in the 2024 election, an election that is shaping up to be a contest between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump. Last night, President Biden, in a nationally televised address, his only 10th such address since he took the Oval Office in 2021, and he attempted to explain his decision not to run for a second term in 2024. He cited repeatedly the need to protect the American democracy and our democratic republic, and as a way to simply bring the entire nation together, presumably in an attempt to deny former President Trump a second term. Now, our CBS National News correspondent, Jared Hill, has this report.
It has been the privilege of my life to serve this nation for over 50 years.
From the Oval Office, President Joe Biden explained his decision to leave the 2024 race, calling it the best way to unite his party and the nation.
Nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation.
The president's supporters gathered outside the White House to listen to the speech, some shedding tears.
A grateful heart for the president for his service to our country.
Former President Donald Trump watched the historic address while leaving his rally in North Carolina. There, Trump focused his attacks on new likely Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris, frequently mispronouncing her name.
Lion Kamala Harris has been the ultra-liberal driving force behind every single Biden catastrophe.
Earlier in Indiana, Harris spoke before members of historically black sorority Zeta Phi Beta, rallying support among a crucial voting and organizing bloc.
These extremists want to take us back, but we are not going back. We are not going back.
According to a source familiar with the process, Harris is vetting around a dozen possible running mates, including governors, members of Congress, current cabinet secretaries, and some names who aren't presently in public office. That pick expected to be made public sometime before August 7th. Jared Hill, CBS News.
That was CBS national correspondent Jared Hill talking about the President Biden's address that he made last night. Vice President Kamala Harris has held a couple of campaign rallies so far, and she is well in the process of securing enough Democratic National Convention delegates to secure their party's nomination. The DNC convention will be held in Chicago in a couple of weeks, and she has already earned the endorsement of President Joe Biden, former President Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, House Speaker Emeritus Nancy Pelosi, and numerous other Democratic governors, congressmen, and senators from across the nation, including our own Georgia's U.S. Senators Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff, U.S. Congressman Hank Johnson, Nikema Williams, all from Metro Atlanta. So Vice President Kamala Harris is well on her way to officially becoming the 2024 presidential nominee for her party. Former President Donald Trump held a rally Wednesday night just before President Biden's nationally televised address in Charlotte, North Carolina. This was his first rally by himself after he received the Republican National Convention official White House nominee designation. He and his vice presidential running mate, J.D. Vance, did hold a rally together in Michigan immediately after the GOP convention, which was attended and covered by our own outstanding political reporter, Doug Reardon. And Doug was also in Charlotte, North Carolina last night, where he reported on the rally held by former President Donald Trump.
Former President Donald Trump certainly stuck to that theme of unity, more so in his speech at the RNC last week. However, here in Charlotte, we did not see much of that. A lot of folks outside the venue told us they wanted to hear Trump unite the party and talk more about how he can bring Republicans together. They may have been disappointed once they got inside. On a sweltering Charlotte Wednesday, supporters of Donald Trump waited outside his rally, eager to hear what he had to say.
Yeah, I really want to hear him talk about unity, bringing the country back together. There's so much division right now.
I just really hope that Trump can bring a message of unity among supporters.
Brooke Body and Dawson Conway say they had to be at Trump's rally in their hometown, the former president's first since his opponent for the White House, President Joe Biden, dropped out of the race.
A lot of supporters, I think, thought that we had it in the bag after the assassination attempt, and I think not having Biden in the picture anymore makes it clear that we really don't have it in the bag.
Harris is a whole different ballgame, I think, and so I do think they do kind of have to adjust what their campaign looks like right now.
Inside the rally, Harris was the theme of the day for Trump, but unity was not.
I was supposed to be nice. They say something happened to me when I got shot. I became nice. If you don't mind, I'm not going to be nice. Is that okay?
Trump blasted his presumed new opponent, Vice President Kamala Harris, a former prosecutor, attorney general, and California senator.
Lion Kamala Harris has been the ultra-liberal driving force behind every single Biden catastrophe. She is a radical left lunatic who will destroy our country. If she ever gets the chance to get into office, we're not going to let that happen.
Trump also reminding the crowd Kamala Harris was placed in charge of the White House's handling of the nation's growing border crisis, one he says she made worse in her tenure as VP. As for Harris, she spent Wednesday meeting with members of historically black sororities just days after raising $84 million in a span of 24 hours. That is a record for American politics. From Charlotte, North Carolina, Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
That was our own Doug Reardon reporting from Charlotte, North Carolina. And in the wake of the attempted assassination of former President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania, several weeks ago, the now former director of the U.S. Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, has resigned. Now, she came under a lot of just very fierce, withering criticism during a hearing on Capitol Hill a couple of days ago. U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia, and really a bipartisan coalition of Republicans and Democrats were highly critical of Cheadle's role in leading the Secret Service and allowing a former U.S. president almost to be assassinated on her watch. She has resigned. She was facing calls for her impeachment, but instead on Wednesday offered her resignation, and now we will simply just wait and see what the future of one of the premier law enforcement agencies in the United States is going to hold.
Kimberly Cheadle out as director of the Secret Service. Cheadle resigning amid intense scrutiny following the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump at a Pennsylvania rally earlier this month.
I'm happy to see that she has heeded the call of both Republicans and Democrats. Now we have to pick up the pieces.
Members of both parties have been calling for her to step down, mounting pressure that only grew following a contentious hearing on Capitol Hill Monday.
You're full of today. You're just being completely dishonest.
If you have an assassination attempt on a president, a former president, or a candidate, you need to resign.
You should have come today ready to give us answers. I call upon you to resign today.
Unwilling to answer many questions from the House Oversight Committee.
We are just 9 days out from this incident, and there's still an ongoing investigation.
Cheadle provided little clarity on how a gunman was able to get access to a roof that was so close and with a clear line of sight to the former president. The gunman's bullets narrowly missed Trump's head, but left one rally-goer dead and others injured.
The Secret Service's solemn mission is to protect our nation's leaders. On July 13th, we failed.
Cheadle's resignation comes as lawmakers and an internal government watchdog move forward with investigations into the agency's handling of Trump's protection. In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Finally, a number of national polls have come out within the last 24 to 72 hours regarding the newly rechristened 2024 presidential race between former President Donald Trump and current Vice President Kamala Harris, who is still just all but officially the presumptive Democratic National Committee White House nominee. We had 2 new national polls come out just yesterday, but also on Monday, only a few hours, less than 24 hours, after President Joe Biden announced he would not be running for re-election. A Quinnipiac University poll, really one of the first national polls that came out in the wake of the stunning announcement this past weekend, shows the race, a potential race between Harris and Trump to be a virtual dead heat. Now, we did a very short interview with the university polling analyst Tim Malloy, who offered a lot of very fascinating and interesting insights into this new Quinnipiac University national poll.
We did a quick poll, but got a very good sample as far as accuracy goes. We found that if the election were held right now, it would be a dead heat. Trump up by 2 points, which is inside the margin of error. And even with a 6-way, counting all the other candidates who would get much lower numbers, it would be close as well. So it would be good news for the vice president's camp looking at these numbers, because it means she's in it. And we're sort of off to the races. Very likely to be a governor of a state that has a lot of delegates, like Michigan, like Pennsylvania. Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona, a very important state, his name's floating around. So it won't be somebody you've never heard of. It'll be somebody from a state that can deliver a lot of delegates and a very popular governor, more than likely. But other than that, we don't know. We listed several of them in our polling and found that none of them are close enough to run against Kamala Harris, but all of them are probably viable candidates because of the states they come from. The South is extremely important because Biden is pretty weak in some states. Both Cooper and Bashir are very viable, moderate, attractive, and young, and could very well be on the list as well. And again, governors of important states. So yeah, important, the South. We did it very fast. We usually take 4 days, but we got enough calls out in a truncated poll to feel our numbers are accurate. You got a threshold of people you've got to get full answers from. We got that, even though we really accelerated to get it done. So yeah, it was a very short amount of time taken to get it, but we think it's an accurate poll, and it shows you got a very tight race for president starting today. We asked exactly that question. The assassination improved Trump's standing in his favorability, which is an overall feeling about Trump. He got a big bump. But the speech that followed after the assassination attempt possibly hurt him because he was considered a negative as far as being a unifier after that speech. So he won some points as far as favorability for his behavior and how he handled the assassination attempt. He lost points very likely because of the speech he gave at the convention. 46% of voters that we poll everybody, Republicans, Democrats, Independents, think that he was a good choice. 33% think that he wasn't. And the rest of the people, 21%, don't even really know who he is. So he's starting with pretty good numbers, but there's still, some darkness as far as who the heck this guy is. Immigration and abortion have eclipsed even the economy in some of our polling. So one side's got abortion, one side's got immigration, and they're going to pound each other on that. I think it'll be interesting to see how Kamala Harris handles that and how Trump handles Kamala Harris and whether there'll even be a debate. But yes, the two big ones are immigration and abortion, right to choose.